Okay, this is Algebra 1, Semester 1, Unit 2 notes. This is right at the beginning of Unit 2. On this front page, you'll see one mistake that I've made, or one adjustment that I've made just now in setting up the video, is I've realized that this 3.8 section, when you get down to it, it will be combined into just one video. You may want to watch it 2 different nights because I'll give some extra examples from what's in the notes on equations and formulas. So we'll leave it there as 2 separate videos, but it really is just one. It's just listed as 3.8, and I would recommend studying it 2 different nights. It's kind of a difficult concept. As you were told in class when you took the Unit 1 test, just list these A, B, C, D, E, F, G straight down. They match up, and you are responsible to get those on flashcards and be studying them about 20 minutes a night. Or you could put them on an audio recording, any way that you choose that you want to try memorizing those. In addition to that, I told you that it's very important that you know these different properties. We'll be using them today. Addition property of equality and addition property of inequality. The only difference in that is that one's with an equal sign, one's with a less than or greater than sign. But what you're basically doing is adding to each side of the equation to solve for x. Subtraction property of equality or inequality is any time that you need to subtract from each side to get x alone. Multiplication property of equality or inequality is anytime you need to multiply to get that x by itself. And division property of inequality or equality is anytime you need to divide in order to get that x by itself. So those should go on flashcards, some type of memorization. Most students in my class have no problem remembering them after they've practiced them enough. You are required to label everything that you solve in this unit. It really improves your accuracy. This is Algebra 1, Semester 1, Unit 2, Section 3.3. So what we're doing is we're solving. Again, just like what I told you in class previously, is that we treat the letter like he's a creepy dude. We don't know if he's good or bad. We just know that he's different from everybody else. And students, remember when we start talking creepy dude that he needs to be separated, the different one. So we use, first off, commutative property to rewrite those creepy dudes so that they're closer together. I drew that line to show the balance of the equation. That's like it's on a teeter-totter, and you're keeping it balanced. Because these two are on the same side, we don't need to worry about doing anything to this side. They're on this side, we're only changing their position. So we write 9d minus 2d plus 4 equals 32. That was the commutative property. You are responsible to write down every property you use in solving these. Commutative property is anytime you move terms. Now, 9 minus 2 would be 7d plus 4 equals 32. Now we have one creepy dude on our teeter-totter. We want to get him alone. We go up the PIMDAs, inverse order of operations, to get him by himself. First thing we ask, is anything being added or subtracted to this d on this side of the teeter-totter? The answer would be yes, there's a plus 4. To get rid of that plus, we subtract. So we subtract 4 from each side. That'll wipe out. We get 7d equals 32 minus 4 is 28. Now we're done with add, subtract. We're up to multiply, divide. Is anything being multiplied by that d or divided into the d? We see 7 is being multiplied because it's sitting right next to it. So now we divide each side by 7. We get d equals 4. Now, to look at our properties, we did commutative property when we rearranged those terms. We put the 9 and the 2 side by side. When we combine those, we say that's combining like terms. Combine like terms. Our next step is that we subtracted 4 from each side, so that's the subtraction property of, and it's an equal sign, so that's equality. I do expect you to write the entire thing, because telling me that it's a property of equality tells me that you're doing it on each side of your teeter-totter. And you should double check that you did. Now here our next step was divided by 7 on each side, so that would be the division property of equality. In class, when I answer questions, I will expect you to know these properties. So study what's happening and ask questions this first day back. Because after that, when I solve a problem, I'll ask you for the property. So make sure that you get that. Okay, first thing that we do in this problem is we clear the parentheses. We do that by distributing right there. So we have 6x minus 2x. Negative 2 times negative 5 is a positive 10 equals 46. Okay? So that our first property was distributive property. Now, that is not of equality because we didn't do it to both sides. We only did it to one side. Now we can combine like terms. That would be 6 minus 2 is 4x plus 10 equals 46. Now we've got one creepy dude. We've got our teeter-totter. We've got our balance point. We can do our inverse order of operations to get that creepy dude by himself. In order to get x alone, he's having a plus 10. We subtract 10. So that would be the subtraction property of equality. We do it to both sides, so it is of equality. Okay. That wipes out. We get 4x equals 36. Now, to get that x alone, it's being multiplied by 4. To undo multiplication, we divide by 4. So we get x equals 9. And that was division property of equality. Now, the nice thing with this, you can plug in this value back into the original equation and get the correct answer. Let's just do that to show you how you can check one. So, 6 times 9 minus 2 times 9 minus 5 should equal 46. 6 times 9 is 54. Minus 2, 9 minus 5 is 4, equals 46. 54 minus 8 equals 46. And if you count that, that is correct. So you've done all your math correctly in getting 9. Next one is very much like the last one. We need to clear the parentheses first. So 2w plus 3w plus 12, again we're distributing, equals 27. That was the distributive property. Just going to put those symbols this time. I'm running out of room on my paper. So 2w plus 3w is 5w plus 12 equals 27. Draw a line, circle our creepy dude, go up our PIMDAs. What's being added or subtracted to that w would be a plus 12. We subtract 12. Same process on all these. So after distributive property, we combine like terms. Now we subtraction property of equality, because we did it on each side of the equals. This wipes out, we get 5w equals 15. Now 5, setting next to the w means multiply, so we divide by 5. We get w equals 3. So that's division property of equality. And then we end up with an extra slot. If that happens, don't sweat it. Just double check that you've written down everything. We had distributive, we had combined like terms, subtraction property of equality, division property of equality, and that's our final answer. So I'm satisfied that it's correct. We could plug it back in and check it. I'm not going to on the video, simply because I don't want to have to upload a longer video. So now on this one, we distribute the 3 halves to each of these. So we get 9 halves x plus 15 halves equals negative 24. You could multiply everything by 2 to get rid of those halves. That might make things nicer. You would multiply everything on each side. Our other option would be to just simply leave it as fractions. But let's go ahead and write distributive property. And then when we multiply by 2, let's just write clear fractions. It's not a property that I ask you to memorize there. So when we multiply 9 halves by 2, it will wipe out the 2 on the bottom, because that would reduce. We just have 9x. When we multiply the 2 by 15 over 2, it would reduce with the 2 on the bottom, so we just have 15. Multiply 2 by negative 24, we'd get a negative 48. Okay. Next step, we'd subtract 15 from each side. That's subtraction property of equality. That wipes out, we get 9x. Now, they're both negative, so we're actually adding them. That would become 13, 63, negative 63. Divide by 9 on each side, we get x equals a negative 7. So division property of equality was our last step. Okay, that kind of gets you going. In class, I do want you to make sure and list the properties as you solve these. The book doesn't require that, but I do. So make sure and check with me if you're confused at all. Thank you very much.